All right, I want to thank you all for coming and waiting my arrival. Sorry we had to delay a little bit. The meeting out of Cairns went on a little while. Some of you would have realized my attendance to a funeral service of the passing of the late Sir Graham Whitchurch. He was a long-term Papua New Guinean Australian who lived here since 1964. He served many governments. His long term of office was with our national parliament. Over more than 50 years of service in that work. And so I had to fly in on behalf of the country to pay respect to him. Also, respect that must be rendered to many who choose to be citizens of our country since 1975. There are many of that cluster or that type of our citizenry who were adopted into PNG. They choose to be part of us. Most of us are born into our country, but those who choose to be amongst us, citizens of the adopted country, he passed on after distinguished service to state, and I want to give my respect to him, respect to him himself, as well as those who are in service to our country who have been for the last 50 years. We have been independent. Cairns also, in stepping over, I did meet the mayor of Cairns. We were in discussion on Cairns as an important transit hub for Papua New Guinea, Australia, especially the people-to-people engagements. In our effort to ramp up more engagements with Australia, Cairns is only 1 hour by flight from Port Moresby, the closest international airport and seaport in as far as reach to PNG is concerned. I was with the governor of Western Province, who, as you know, in terms of province-wide, the Western Province has traditional cultural connectivity with the people of Torres Strait Islands, as well as Far North Queensland. So discussions were in depth as to where we could have more engagements with, as far as people-to-people is concerned. You know, 2028 we have our team, the PNG chiefs, running on into the fields. That would see easily, in my view, from studies, over 5,000 traveling in and traveling out to watch the games. Our flight currently from Brisbane or Cairns into PNG is not enough to take in that load to come in. And Cairns being the closest airport to Port Moresby can be the transit point in which the game visitors gather to come in to watch the team play here, or likewise Papua New Guineans who want to go down to watch our team play. We could be using Cairns as an airport of the travels. The connectivity from Cairns to other parts of Australia could be the place in which it carries a load in as far as traveling is concerned. That game in 2028 will completely change our city and the way travels are happening. In regular weekly intervals, there will be travel back and forth for the game, and as I said, about 5,000 seats need to be created in the flights in between Port Moresby and Australia. So we're looking forward to using Cairns as a port of flight in and out. Also Brisbane and Sydney will remain. But Cairns, just because it's 1 hour or so away, is easier to service in terms of those regular loads in and out of Port Moresby and Cairns. So in that context, we met also, but the cultural connectivities were discussed. We're also looking at the labour mobility into Australia, whether that's seasonal, temporary work relief that Australia may need, or the permanent, as an indication on emerging specialist workforce need in Australia also. Yesterday in my meet with Queensland Premier, he did confirm, for instance, in the nursing sector, there's a need of over 20,000 nurses in the state of Queensland right now. I just wish we had more training space and we had trained more nurses to for our own needs as well as the need to supply the emerging needs of those sort of classifications of work in Australia, let alone Queensland. So in that conversation, we discussed on how we could use Cairns as a place for Papua New Guineans who will go and work and also study in Australia, acclimatized to the way Australian life is in terms of rules and living standard expectations, cultural assimilations. I want to announce to the country we will be having one gate. We don't want all manners of schemes emerging to supply workforce in Australia. I'll be appointing, if not a minister, then a vice minister reporting directly to me to supervise those who will go to Australia for the work schemes. I've said that in my statement in 2002, I beg your pardon, 2022, when I made my speech again after being elected as Prime Minister, that our education standard must step up to the Australian standard. That speech was not just off-the-cuff speech. We made this speech purposely knowing that in time, Papua New Guineans studying here will be able to be deployed to work in Australia, because I saw back then, in fact, I saw that in 2009 when I was Education Minister, and under my watch back then, we did set up the Australia Pacific Training College in Port Moresby. And so tomorrow, one of my work, I will be visiting that campus to see where it is, and we want to prepare our education institutions for a mass short-term training, mid-term training, as well as long-term training to prepare workforce to be subsumed into the Australian workforce if the need arises. So that's a big pathway opening for many Papuans. You would have seen our earlier conversation around Papuans to be grafted into the Australian Defence Force. That's one path. Sports is another path, but the seasonal workforce is another path. But it is emerging that other specialists need work areas, whether education, even police. So these are needs that will be emerging in Australia, if not right away, in the not too distant future, as well as we grow down. Based on Australian population growth and the demographics, we have the youthful population here, so we will work in synergy, stepping up our education institutions here and preparing our citizens to work in our own needs here, as well as the access to supply to the Australian workplace. And so I want to indicate to our country, Rome was not built in 1 year, one term of parliament, or let alone 50 years. We've just come through our life as a country for 50 years. And so stepping into the 50th and beyond, we just have to reposition our country to look into opportunities that abound, as we also subsume the challenges that face us. I want to confirm to all of you, yesterday I did meet the Honourable Christopher, the Premier of Queensland, in his office, and of course we've signed the revised MOU that embraces everything that we can do together. We embrace in that MOU, notwithstanding what was prescribed, but anything else that we can do within the confines of our do list, then our country, as well as Queensland State, engage in a signed MOU. We will be working going forward. So 2025 to 2030 MOU, but within this concentrated team will work that space. Said earlier, the need for, they have their own specific need in terms of human and resource needs. We have our own needs in terms of capacity, and also, of course, the economic import of capacities, businesses, etc. So a synergy between Queensland and us is important. For those who think Queensland is a state or a province equivalent, I want to reflect that Queensland is a 500 billion Australian dollar economy. 500 billion Australian dollar economy. You do your own research. If Queensland was a country, they would rank in the top 50 or top 60 countries or economies. That's right. It's a big economy, They have their needs to supplement and sustain their economy. We also have our needs in terms of importing what we can import with them. PNG remains or is the 7th biggest trading partner of the state of Queensland in terms of what we supply them and what we also import from them. We have over 25,000, if not 30,000, Papua New Guineans who call Queensland home. And so in that context, it's important we make those MOUs that bind how we as a country relate to the Queensland state. That is also within the framework of PNG-Australia relationship. You would have seen my joint address with the Australian Prime Minister to the PNG Investment Summit hosted by Chamber of Resource and Energy. It's historic. The Australian Prime Minister was gracious with his time. He stepped out of his private time to come to be with me on the podium to address the opening of the investment summit. And he affirmed our close bond, our partnership, not just in the government-to-government relationship, but my government's focus in the economic sphere and focus in investment, business, and growth of our economy. Australian Prime Minister gave the endorsement that our work going forward must be one of equal economic partners. And I did indicate to Australian investors that PNG has abundance of opportunity for investment in the mining and petroleum space. I did inform the investors we want to win, get at 55% or above for the country without hurting the investors' return on investment. We did ask Australian financial institutions to be on standby to finance PNG investment opportunities as well as other government opportunities that may emerge in our country going forward. Our country is acknowledged as a growing country, whilst many economies globally and in the region are posting 2-3% GDP growth. We are right now, for the last 3 years, have posted about 4% GDP growth. That's noted by, if not by those of you locally, it is noted by investors. It is noted by the finance community. It is noted by key important bilateral partner nations, including Australia. They see the effort in which our economy is being stabilized and the fact that we're growing our economy as we speak. I made it no secret since 2019. I had a focus on growing our economy. My first maiden speech on 30th of May 2019 was our economy must hit 200 billion kina by 2029, if not 2030. And many ask me, why do you run this line? I just use a simple example. The economy is like the size of the garden. If the garden is big, if the garden is abundant, then the owner of the garden is able to pick from and then organize a meal to sustain his or her family. Now, if the garden of PNG, the economy, if it is bigger, the treasurer or government of the day will have enough to pick from that culminates in a budget to sustain all our needs. Today, fact remains in PNG, population above 10 million, land size about 462,840 square kilometers of land, sea size over 3 million square kilometers of sea space. That's a big country. You need a big economy to sustain that big country. And no wonder why we've had so many issues thus far. And I don't blame the 7 prime ministers of past. Sometimes you see me going on and on about one former prime minister in particular. But the bigger conversation is our economy since then up to today has been small. The size of our need has remained big. We don't have enough to sustain all our needs. And so in that context, I've been spending over 50% of my time. In every instance, growing the economy has been the gist of my administration since 2019. And we focus in that space. When I addressed the mining conference, I did indicate mining and petroleum, I indicate to all of them. PNG take will be about 55% for all the projects that we deliver going forward. I point to them the Pogra as an example. Pogra is a classical example where investors sit at the side of 51% equity and I beg your pardon, 49% equity. We sit on the side of 51% equity. Equity is one parcel of that 55%. We stack up equity, we stack up tax, we stack up royalty, the three main entitlements of Papua New Guinea through our present law, then the total take must value about 55% for our country. Many of the projects we have today don't add up to 55%. In fact, most of them are below 50% or much, much lower. So in that context, our fight for resource has been aggressively there since 2019. I did indicate to the mining conference. We understand they must make profit. We respect their profitability, but the country must also win in the process. I came out very clear when I addressed it in the afternoon. As mining minister, I went detailed on what is expected of us going forward in terms of resource agreements. I point to them. We will make some legislative changes in our 50th year, running to 15 September 2026. Some of these changes will be made, enhancing what we expect to gain from our resource harvest, whilst at the same time protecting investors from making profit in as far as their investments in our country is concerned. And for the investors, I did indicate to them, we understand the issue of them making return on investment. We will not have best return of investment. In fact, we want to offer them better than others in the same region in as far as mining and petroleum is concerned. I want to also commend President Anthony Marape and the team at PNG. They've done a fabulous job. For the first time, the attendance have gone past 2,000. And I want to correct the notion. It's not Papua New Guinea public servants attending that has gone past 2,000. This 2,000 is from around the world. For the first time, when me and Prime Minister Australian PM walked down the aisles for the address, and I've been in and out of this session since 2008, mind you. I've been attending this conference since 2008. For the first time, I saw more overseas foreign attendees than Papua New Guineans in the room. It was skewed towards 80% foreign attendees and 20% Papua New Guineans who were in the mix. Few public servants, landowner investors, and department heads who need to go and present our story. And so I want to commend PNG, Mr. Marape and his team. They did exceptionally well. And these sessions are emerging into not just purely mining and petroleum conferences or seminar, which now shifted towards other forms of investment in our country. Our forestry story is being told, our fishery story is being told, our agricultural story is being told, our construction effort story is being told at the margins of the core conference agreement with Papua New Guinea government, and joint venture in fisheries was signed to see our fish being domesticated at PMI Jet. And so that agreement was signed. That should effectively create around 5,000 jobs when it's fully operational. At the margins of that, also the cement project out of Kido was finally agreed upon between state and them. That cement, when it's by 2027, we should have our first lime and eventually cement being produced. That should stop us importing cement from outside. That was finally signed also. And so I want to point to us, whilst the big ticket projects are still being worked upon, the smaller ones we have amidst us are running. We have close to 20 small mining projects. We have about 6 or 7 petroleum and energy projects that are running. And these are good signs for us that we will sequence them. If not, in the next 2 years before we go to the elections, or 1 year before we go to the elections, and suddenly our country has a pipeline of projects running for the next 10 years, in my view, that should see us total foreign direct investment of anywhere between $50 to $55 billion running for the next 10 years, running on into 2040. That should secure a substantial wave of economic activities increasing in our country going forward. So Exciting times abound. I want to encourage all of us. Let's contribute where we can. Government as regulator will do the absolute best to advocate for investments to be domesticated in our country. But all our citizens, including lower levels of government, have a role to play. Provincial governments, for instance, district authorities, for instance, departments. I did indicate to the conference artificial intelligence and ICT. In fact, one of our meetings yesterday in Brisbane was with Queensland University of Technology, who we are partnering, we've engaged them to look into developing artificial intelligence products that could assist PNG government eliminate government or personal involvement in the entire chain of processes. For instance, public service appointment or contract issuance or even license applications for all our resource when investors want to apply. We eliminate human element in it. You apply online through a portal. AI selects the best applicant that is coming in, and that should increase efficiency, eliminate favoritism, nepotism, get on with the business of picking the best employee or the best company, whether it's applying for a state job that we've tendered or launching with an express of interest to participate in our resource harvest. So, those are the reforms we want to do going forward. I want to encourage all of you out there. National government can do as much advocating for investment, but all of us have a responsibility to protect our country. Right now, the highest level of interest in our country is taking place as we speak. We live in the face of Asian world. We are a Pacific nation. We associate with Southeast Asian nations. We relate to the West very prominently. So Papua New Guinea is a place place that is placed right in the heart of an exciting part of globe that is the Asian region. So market access and possibly the investor coming in is second to none. We just have to prepare ourselves. All provincial governments and districts work their space. All ministries and departments work their space to our people. Your greatest contribution, if you do not know what your contribution must be, in my view, my country advocate is living within respect to the constitution of our country and living lawfully. You live lawfully, government's job in attracting investments into a country is much easier. And together we grow the economic pie. The economy gets bigger, we have more to spend in the key sectors that will grow our country. So when I was asked by the fireside chat by the host on Tuesday, I told her in no uncertain term she asked, what do you see PNG into the future? And I said, PNG should be a prosperous nation. That's my aim, that's all our aim, that's all our interest, and I just ask all of us right throughout our country. The interest on PNG, the spotlight on PNG is the highest it can ever be. And let's not hurt it, let's not kill it, let's not dent it with lawlessness in our country. We all work and protect our country wherever we are placed, then more investors come in. More investors come in, more jobs created. All our sons and daughters have a better future if we all protect our country at this point in time in the nation's life. All right, Mtasol, any question from any one of you? I'll take one or two. I did promise that this session you can ask a question each. So if any one of you, one question is from all outlets so that you give me time to go to attend to other programs.
I just have two questions. The first question is, when can we see the conference being brought to Papua New Guinea and what new investments have been made?
All right. The conference is organized by the Chamber of Resource and Energy. So they're not a government agency. They are peer body of the industry. In their opinion, Sydney remains a catch place, easy for connectivity coming in, and a place where the conference could be held in terms of getting those who do not know our country, maybe Sydney a contact point for them. So it traditionally has been held in Fiji, At our encouragement, we did ask them to host one in Hong Kong. I think 2 years ago we had an event in Hong Kong, and a few years back they had an event here in Port Moresby. So it's been alternating, but Australia has been Sydney, in fact, has been the dominant place in which that conference has been held, something that I can raise up certainly with the core body. This one.
Just the opposition leader has been alleging that you're a global torture, someone who travels a lot around the world, attending to meetings with with nil return on investment, especially if FDIs, foreign direct investors. I understand some of these projects like the cement one, the one in Canary in Medellin, these are some of the FDIs here, so can you further elaborate on that, please?
Well, the opposition leader has got to do his job, so I'm happy he's doing his job in terms of contesting every point of that needs to be contested. It's no surprise, and I want to firstly congratulate him on his ascension to that important office. Pursuing Section 145 is not the only role of the opposition leader, so it's good that he's doing his job. I want to indicate to our country, firstly, my travel overseas, in my view, if someone is scared to do research on my travel as well as other prime ministers' travel, they are on the same amount of attendance that we do in all these events. I don't travel elsewhere to play golf or socialize. All events that need attendance, then these are regular international events like attending UN, attending PIF, attending the Sydney conference, attending the only new event that I'm sort of attending these days is in Davos. Davos is the mother of all economic forums, and for the benefit of the country, we've received personalized invitation from none other than the organization of Davos itself. Davos is an exclusive club for key world leaders as far as discussions on business, commerce, and trade is concerned. So, and that invitation has come to us the last 3 years. I've refused first one due to duties back home. Last year I did attend, and I received again to attend next year. So, and all in the interest of promoting our country. Some dividends you would see right away. I want to indicate, for instance, my non-attendance, the converse, my non-attendance on COP meetings until this year. My non-attendance of COP meeting have seen us secure over 200 million kina worth of investment in the forestry conservation sector alone. So I don't need to report to the opposition leader on what dividends does come back to the state. Fact remains that the economy grew the biggest. 54 billion kina was put on top of the 79 billion kina economy I inherited in 2019. Record speaks. Numbers don't lie. And so that's the work of James Marape. My job as the #1 spokesman of the country means in relevant meetings that I must attend, I attend. Other meetings that does not need my attendance, then I send ministers who are relevant to those meetings. Or in some instance, Deputy Prime Minister this year would have seen that I did not attend APEC. I sent our Deputy Prime Minister to represent our country in the APEC meetings this year, and as it was last year. And so, the opposition leader can say what he has to say. If you were to ask me to bet on a hypothesis, I bet when he becomes PM, he'll be more traveling around than I am traveling around these days, doing many other things except the work thing that I am doing for the country. James Marape don't indulge in alcohol. I'm not a gambler. Just stay focused on work. Fly into the work and fly out. I put in a lot of time in those meetings. I have meetings lined up. I go through meetings after meetings after meetings to get it done for our country. Some you would see right away. Some you will see in time. Leaders don't plant trees or plant seeds that germinate right away. We plant seeds, and sometimes in time those germinations will take place, and you will see it in time. And for first-time MPs like the current opposition leader, I'm sure he will live through time to see and harvest from some of the fruits that we are planting, seeds that we are planting today in 5, 10, 15 years' time. I'm today at the present. For instance, PNG-LNG, I played my little role assisting Prime Minister Marape in 2008, 9, 10, constructing PNG-LNG. Today, him and generations today are benefiting from what we planted in 2008, 9, 10. So some of these things you do mid-term to long-term, and not right away. So he's entitled to ask his opinion. I want to ask him. We're doing work for the country. That's what Prime Minister should do.
So when do you expect the announcement of the chief CEO?
Sorry?
The announcement of the CEO, the head of the PNG?
Oh, the chief CEO. All right. So I want to say it's something out of my reach. I have no involvement in the appointment of chief CEO, but the board is at work. The board should very soon complete, and we've indicated to them we want it to be done sooner than later. I am certain they would pick a competent person to step in and run our team. I am assured that Mr. Peter Vallandes, the chairman of our National Rugby League competition, he made a very strong statement, and I want to thank him, by the way. He was put on the spotlight by the interview that how safe is Port Moresby. And please, some of you, all of you access what he said. It's a good line he used. He said Port Moresby is as safe as I think he used Los Angeles, or he named some cities of the world. He said if you step out in wrong places in those cities, you will do face issues. So I've been to Port Moresby. I've been around Port Moresby, and I have no issue with Port Moresby. All parts of the world have issues with lawlessness. So I thought he spoke well, and I did give assurance that we'll be preparing the team preparing the city for a safe, livable city 2020 and onwards. So they will be appointing a CEO very soon. Whoever it is, we will work with the CEO. And as we work with the CEO, the entire team structure will come into place. I think the last time I said Papua New Guineans out there who want to be members of our team, indicate to the board that open membership to 100 kina per person. So I'll be launching this support team, and I'll get involved in the supporter basis. So those who want to be supporters of our chief, 100 kina per person. So ready out your 100 kina, and we will support our team. If you're part of the team support, you have access to the gate at a discounted price, and we will also look at other incentives, like traveling out to watch the game. You'll be given special consideration, etc. Keep a lookout. I don't have the. It's not the time to even say this, but the Australian government is looking at special travel arrangements also for NRL related. So those work are being progress as we speak, especially in relation to visa. They have not completed work yet, but there's a special consideration on that allows for ease of movement in and out for the game. So Papua New Guineans who want to support your team, 100 kina person membership if you want to support your team. We want the team to be membership based. And I did indicate to all the business houses attending the conference, all businesses out here who want to be part of the sponsoring family, minimum 1 million kina team, company. So ordinary Papua New Guineans, 100 kina. Businesses, we'll roll it out for them, 1 million kina in terms of business who want to support our team. So those will be strategy to make sure the team has enough money to sustain. You know, it costs around 30 to 40, 50 $million to run a team professionally a year. And I was also, I visited Penrith setup. I want to thank Penrith Chairman Peter Graham. And you know, our former CEO is now CEO of Penrith Panthers. And Penrith Panthers Club makes a turnover of almost 200 to 300 million kina equivalent turnover a year from their club. So in terms of, it's just not sports, but also sports business. And they showed me the junior academy, the training academy, the Center of Excellence, their business structure. And we went through and had a look through right through Penrith. But for PNG, a CEO will be announced very soon. When it announced, the team, what do you call it, logo? Team, is it logo or the team motif? The team, not mascot, but yeah, logo. Team logo. Team logo. Sort of me no English speaker too, so me something funny. So yeah, team logo will be also indicated. I did ask them. I did contribute some sort of a logo. It must be reflective of the country, the spirit of the country, and has a national unification sort of motive inside. And so very soon also they will be indicating the symbol, the logo, the emblem of the team. And I will not tell you what it is, but it will hopefully something that embraces the spirit of our country. So I said, find me something that is common right across every tribe in our country. And you all media look around, what is common across every tribe? Something that's common across every tribe. So they're looking around and they'll come up with it. And the Thai Australians, every Australian meet said this chief will be the second team. If they don't have a team, then chief should be the team. So we will have massive support also. That 100 Kina membership will also roll it out international to Australians who want to be part of our team. Then anyone who wants to be a supporter of chiefs, then you can also buy your membership. Ruth Lungula, you excited or not? Women too, or women, but people are put them behind. By the way, the city of Cairns has indicated their support for women's sports. All girls in Port Moresby and Cairns work on them, so especially girls sports, junior girls, but not just rugby league, but also basketball and soccer and that kind of thing. So for girls, so we're also developing that path. All right. Postcode happen. Is anyone else? Yes. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. You know, Christmas anyway, closest.
Joel and Ruth from Sunday Building. I just have one. So something to ask you to clarify. Over the past days, when we left to Sydney, there's been a huge public outcry about Sam Poem's resignation. All a statement, I don't know if it formally came from Sam Poem, but stated that the government, a legislative government under your leadership, has imposed a board that Sam Poem claims that it will weaken operational independence of IRC. So that was the main reason of him resigning as the commissioner for the Annual Revenue Commission. Was the main one. He said, wrote twice to UN, Treasurer Ling Staki about this, but his requests were overseen by you. And then the government went ahead and imposed the board. Mr. Poem said that the main reason of him resigning as the commissioner is use of this board. Could you just clarify to the country about this?
All right, thank you. Good question. I am yet to see whether a formal press release by Mr. Koim or even on that aspect of the reason why he resigns or his resignation. I'm yet to, I think since I've been out, I have not received any formal indication of his resignation. But if he did resign, then it's a matter for himself. He's served his country distinctively. And I want to say thank you for him. I will have to confirm whether he resigned or not. At this point in time, I have no letter of resignation on my table to indicate whether he's resigned. But if he did resign, for me personally, as head of this government, and for me as a Papua New Guinean, I want to say thank you very much for the work that is put into IRC. IRC is an important institution. When we appointed him in the first place, he was appointed at the backdrop of a citizen in our country who's got a high standard in respect to moral obligations, in respect to legal obligations, in respect to his own work ethics. We felt that he was a young Papua New Guinean and came through the process for his acting appointment, later confirmed, and he was appointed. And through our views on his ability to handle IRC well, his tenureship in IRC, as well as Mr. Tor in customs. The last 5 years, remember we came at the backdrop of COVID-19 in 2019, 2020. You step back from 2019, 2020 to 2018, we picked the economy that was officially in recession. -3% recessed economy we picked in 2018. So from this recessed economy in 2018, from COVID-19 in 2020, we had to appoint credible people, and Mr. Coim was amongst Papua New Guinea's credible Papua New Guinea available at the time. He was placed in 2025, 5 years later or so. It's shown that IRC did collect, double up in the size of collection. I want all of you to also see the collection he made at the backdrop of government the last 3 years giving heavy tax concession to our citizens. We removed tax from close to over 100 to 200,000 Papuans. Today, those who are earning below 20,000 kina don't pay any personal income tax. That's a net ripple pass on. Those who are earning above 20,000, around 60 kina more you take home in your pays. That's a benefit of putting non-tax paying base at 20,000 kina. So against the backdrop of removing tax from Papua New Guinea in terms of personal income tax, or last year we started the GST relief, removing tax from 13 essential household items. Papua New Guinea's tax collection increased. And I want to say, Sam Coim did a lot of job. Our own government also invested in not just appointing him as the right person to head IRC, but we also gave close to 100 million kina to IRC in the last 4 years to reboot the system. To reboot the system in the system configuration that we had to make so that everyone pays a fair tax in a country. Before we took office, there was a lot of black economy. Cigarettes that was not real cigarettes, counterfeit cigarettes coming in the back door, selling cigarettes on the market illegally. A lot of unpoliced sector of economy were operating without paying tax. So we appointed Mr. Coim, and we rebooted the system through government interventions. And so today we have a much stronger system that is collecting tax. And as Mr. Coim has done a fabulous job, if he chooses to resign, I'm yet to be told the reason why he's resigning. So let's leave it at that. In the next 2 or 3 days, the reason of his resignation will surface. But in terms of the response on the changes we are making, I want to indicate to the country, this is not a bad change. This is not a change only requested by IMF. In 2019, when we took office, there were 33 pointers that under my watch we felt we need to do. And some of them were reform in the central bank, reform in IRC, reform in customs, and resourcing in these key sectors to tighten the way we were doing business and eliminate the black economy or illegal transactions in the economy. And one of them we felt, whilst Mr. Coim, a high moral standing man, is in office, IRC may be okay. But people come, people go. You need to put power not in the hands of one person. Mind you, IRC Customs Commissioner General is a powerful position. And I've been around for some time. And power vested in one person can be good when a good man is in place, can be bad when a bad man is in place. So the board comes in at a level not to do the operational work, but to sit at the policy level to make sure good governance, standard, policy, and procedure is followed at all times. Taking power away from one and a board that sits there, this doesn't come to suppress everyday operations of IRC. Everyday operations of IRC, power remains in the hands of the Commissioner General. So, a good person in Mr. Coim does his job with minimal supervision. Good results happen. But a day when it happens like this, when he resigns, and if someone is appointed that doesn't have the moral standing that Sam Coim has, then grounds could be lost in as far as the gains we've made is concerned. So I want to indicate to the country, and this board will not be political staffers of James Marape or Yening Sakib in place. We put in competency. They will have members of the community, members of the civil society, members of the business community. there'll be only one or two representing the Treasury in the board. So it's a community-based board that sits to see the general policy of IRCs run without one man controlling the entire place. Nothing against Mr. Coim. He's done absolutely good job. I want to say, I'm falling short of saying that the best IRC person we've had at this time, with respect to others before him. But he has done in the 4 or 5 years he's been in office the best job I could imagine anyone under those circumstances to have done. So commendations to him. If it needs to be signed, we'll find out what it is. And that structure we're putting in place, we stand to be advised if it is the right structure or wrong structure. The composition of the board will be a composition that is community-based. The board will not impinge on everyday operations of the Commissioner General and the Commission. It is just a policy placement for policy oversight to make sure it is running. We also did the same thing to Central Bank, mind you. This was something that I felt we must do, taking power away from one and placing the oversight in the wisdom of many. Wisdom of many. You put him lo man tasol, good man, walk it on good. No good man, walk it punda. Suppose you get one blessing on top now, look. This comes at a compromise to my treasurer's job. Earlier, treasurer and IRC, they could do anything they want. That relationship was there before we put this in place now. Our treasurer and Commissioner General can work to their own inclinations, but we're now compromising. Treasurer, you stop here, not going to relate to workload at time. Our board will sit inside. And the board, like we're doing in Central Bank, the community. Central Bank board now has members from the Finance Committee, community, international observers. You look at people like Mark Baker in Central Bank right now. These are credible people placed inside to have oversight in terms of policy matters on the Central Bank governance work. And of course, adjustments does take time, and it's sometimes painful. When Marape Morata did those reforms in 2001, many were complaining. Today, many are saying he's done well. And so I want to say, we're taking power away from one Central Bank governor. We're taking power away from one IRC commissioner. Not to say they've been doing anything wrong, but placing that board to make sure that into the future CGs, future bank governors are working within the context of policy and law that gives them mandate to work. All right, anything else? Namo, thank you, Brother Harry. Thank you. Good question, everyone, please.